Ooh, so this microblog is one of my very favorite that I've written thus far. I'd really like to put a collection together called Stories from the Boulevard, about some snapshots of different times I've had here in Vegas. Some of it being more of like the underbelly of the city and a different perspective than what might be like highly publicized as like the glitz and the glam and the parties and the nightclubs and the gambling and like all that stuff. You know, all the life that I've lived, once entrenched in that, but also now very much outside of that. So here we go. Flip-flops on the sidewalk. I happily sprayed my succulents, misting the plump petals until gravity made a slip and slide that pulled the droplets down to a light cover of the topsoil. I peered through the grated white shelving on my plant stand in front of the window, gaze narrowing to a patch of pavement where a pair of black rubber flip-flops took up residence next to an electric box. They had pink gel straps and an air of abandonment after living there for over a month. But they weren't the only lost souls. There were Skechers at the bus stop, sitting patiently under the simplistic metal bench as if waiting for a ride. I could sense the sadness in these objects that were anchored by a fuck it outlook on life. When you have so little that all you know is loss. When you don't expect the good, so you treat your stuff like garbage. When your reality bites, so you get high to survive. Single lens sunglasses peered from thick, unkempt bushes that magnetized trash. Beer caps became one with the dirt, growing shades of rust that looked artistic in a junkyard sort of way. Pieces of children's toys and evacuated shopping carts lay mired in clusters of old newspaper and wild brush at the flood channel openings. These were trackings of underground lives that pulled together bedrooms in the storm drains. When the summer flash floods hit, possessions painstakingly collected for the semblance of a home could be washed away in minutes. People died, swept away in an uncontrollable current that spit out unremembered remnants, only to be salvaged by the ones who believed they had no options. Some findings were so random, I couldn't match them with a logical story, like the junk food bomb of half-full soda bottles, fried chicken, and candy wrappers marring a 4-foot radius in the gravel lot next to Budget Sweets. An explosion detonated with utter disregard for all the ones that went to sleep hungry. It was an arrogant kind of waste, this food in the streets, discarded shoes and clothing in good condition. Amidst bunches of spiny cactus outside the library, I spotted a shoebox, toppled on its side and pouring out contents of panties in a skin-tone bra. On my way into the grocery store, I passed a complete work uniform graying in the sun. The black ensemble was typical of Vegas service industry jobs, a culture all its own. Odd hours, degrading pay structure, grounded in addictive behaviors to burn off steam after stressful shifts. I cringed thinking of my serving days and the knots in my shoulders that still held their tension. How I would have loved to strip down to undies, throw up a finger, and ditch my uniform on a sidewalk somewhere. Who knows if this crumpled mass of polycotton blend was the mark of claimed freedom or drunken decision-making, maybe both. Sometimes on walks, I'd fixate my eyes on the pretty palms dotting the pristinely landscaped resort property near our apartment, trying hard to pretend I was somewhere else. A place where junkies didn't leave their needles in the parking lot. A pocket of paradise where empty booze bottles and soda cans made it to a recycle bin. A home where people's pain and desperation didn't coat the streets. It took diligent focus to run a silver lining along this strip of Las Vegas Boulevard. I wore my rose-colored glasses religiously to transcend an environment where doing great was just getting by. I could just read this one over and over and over again because it speaks so much to the area that I live in right now. And my world has changed immensely since I sold my car in July. And there was a period where we didn't have a car. Right now we have like a temporary car. But, in those months, it was like I had to walk. Like, so I lived within this 1 mile radius. Really, like going to the store, coming home. Fortunately, there's like a library near us, and but it made my world feel really small in some ways, and in other ways, it really like opened up my eyes to that we're all like living like at different levels, and just like opened my eyes a lot to like how many people are living on the streets. A phenomenon in Las Vegas is people living in the storm drains under here, because especially in the summers when it gets super hot, it stays cool down there. And so, when we have these flash floods in the summer, people die. They get washed out because the rain comes so fast, and they might be sleeping underground. They don't know it, and they just get washed out. So you'll see, around here, because we have a lot of these storm drains where I'm at, you'll see all these things that have been washed out, and there are all these items that people have just like collected and used to like build their homes underground. And, there's just so many stories in these things that line the streets. And I've never seen like so many abandoned items, not just beer bottles and liquor bottles, but like people's items of clothing, good shoes completely left behind. And, sometimes I just chalk it up to like, maybe it's just someone who's really high. Other times I just cannot fathom how certain things get to be where there are like full boxes of clothing, or there'll be like a bomb, like a fast food bomb, in this dirt lot. And there'll be like, this 4-foot radius where someone just dumped like, fried chicken half-eaten, and like candy bars, and just like all kinds of like half-eaten food. And I wonder to myself, like, God, there's just like, how does this happen? Like, it's such a crazy thing. And I haven't really like made sense of it all, other than like, just writing about it and like seeing like there's just, it fascinates me. It fascinates me in a way, because like I've always been someone who really cares for what I have, like regardless of what level I'm at least at this stage in my life. Like I really, value what I have, even if, compared to someone else, it's not much or whatever, so interesting. Before I get too mired in thought, I will let you go. All the links are down below for you, including the link to this microblog. So if there's ever a microblog, I actually retain information much better when I read it. So if you ever want to read one of the microblogs, you're welcome to do that down below. They're all up and available on ELYSEHUGHES.com. And the first collection, Musings from the Microblog 1.0, Come Out and Play, is the first 99 microblogs that I've written. It's about really being at a point of hopelessness in my life and deciding to make a shift, live my dream, and all the things that are kind of happening along the way, different sprinkles of insights, very eclectic, inspirational writings that go deep and, share, amplify moments and stories and phenomena just like this. So we are working on bringing that into form in the Do You Tribe on Patreon. Leave the link down there below there for you too, so you can check out the book cover we have designed and see the progress and what we need to actually bring this forward. So I'm super excited. It's coming together. All right, guys, talk to you soon. Bye.